Is day 1,650 Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Today we're supposed to do Yerdeh Siman Shin Pei, see if you Dal to Chabez, but we did Yudal and Tesvav in order to finish a discussion. Yesterday's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, so today actually started from Tez Zayin. Mishu Etzek V'Hava, some of you had a commercial activity, Hava, a loan, a investment, I should say, or a loan, able befell him. Ramban Ramban forbids him to loan money to loan money to not to borrow but to loan money through his time as available, even through other people. Rabbeinu Tam Hitin Rabbeinu Tam permits it. So Zayis Kim Rosh Rabbeinu the Rosh agrees with the Rabbeinu Tam. The Mutal Havos, you're allowed to loan money to Makirim Baragilim Milabos people who you're acquainted with and who were habituated to borrow money from you. So they shouldn't go to other people. We are Gimel Islam, will then habituate them to go to them. Now because and therefore it's like a matter of a loss. This we can extrapolate. I'll culminate Mischar Tamidi and any constant um, commercial arrangement, where people are habituated to make purchase for him. It's so now they don't find by him. They're going to buy from other people. Then it will become accustomed to be customers of the other person. In that case, it's permitted for to sell to them through the third party. But in a store, there's a different halacha, which is by Siv Chapei, as we shall see tomorrow. You tell him, most we may evlo also to demand payment during the day of his days of his days. Einav kamina ben yom zel ben acher. If there's no difference between today and after that, he will not suffer any loss by waiting. So then, also that was not made to demand repayment. However, there's a concern after you don't find the borrower because it's going to go away. You'll have to send him a message, an agent, to demand your money. It's like a matter of a loss. Note if you have a court case against a person, like by may have lawyer should not take him to court during the days you have bailiffs. Being moved over but it's a matter there could be a loss. Such as where the person against whom you have a claim will go from here to a distance, or 80 mikan, or the witnesses will go away. O shem cholim, or they're sick. Yesh chashash shem musti, afraid the witnesses will die. O set a Mursha make an attorney, the Daniman Basin, who will go and adjudicate the matter in Basin for you. Basin seems to me that if he's has no choice but to come self to Basin, mutter it's permitted him if it's no impossible any other way. If he must have to receive ches based on what we saw previously, finds him in Shin Tzadi Gimel. Yurches kol dvarim shitir b'moed mishum tzarach hamoed lo mishum davar aved. All things they permitted to do in chamoed because it counts the chol hamoed, not because it's a matter which was going to sustain a loss. So also by an ovel, even through third parties. The only parallel between an ovel and chamoid is in matters where you'll sustain a loss. Because what is that? What the concept of need is there about Avel unless he has nothing to eat in the expanded way which we've seen in the past few Sifim, of course, which have a Sif Hey, Sif Test. Your test. Avel Sheshlo Sada. Avel has a field, Hibarisus, which is Chakirus or Kabos Etzachem. It's sharecropped out in some way, shape, or form. There's three possible ways here, but without getting the details, other people are your sharecroppers. They're working your fields for you. So the people to whom the field is sharecropped, they can work the field as as is their norm during the days of the owner of the field. They're not working for him, they're working for themselves. He's going to make a profit through this as well. What do we care? Since the field is under their jurisdiction, not under his jurisdiction. Even if the time of the sharecropping arrangement comes to an end during the Shiva of the owner of the field, or if it came to an end even it came to an end before that Avelus, they should be and they remain in the field without an agreement, the stam cell they can still work it. The stam cell says kaima, because by default, a field is assumed to be destined for a sharecropping agreement. As if you gave it them, okay, as if you came to agreement previously, the arrangement should continue. Mikra Yasai B'Shusam in the fields continue to be held to be in the jurisdiction of the sharecropper. Avlaskin Mevlo, but to go and initiate an arrangement during the days of the Avel Vade the assembly also, the end of Ave does not matter of a loss. Left on the contrary. If the other himself was the sharecropper in whatever way, shape, or form in somebody else's field, he himself, should not do work. Shas Malach is not allowed to do work. But the others can do the work for him. They're not doing it in his field, they're doing it for the owner of the field. In other words, ultimately, the owner of the field is the owner, and therefore the people working for him are working for the Avel only in the sense that the Avel has obligation to work with the owner of the field, and therefore they are fulfilling obligation. But now, of course, the Avel will make a profit by that, right? Because he's the sharecropper. But that profit comes automatically. But the owner of the field cannot lose on account of your Avelus. I mean, he can, but we don't want him to. If if a person had working in his field a daily employee, and then he becomes an avel, also the worker can't work in his field even if the field is in another city, because the worker does not have a part in the field. The entire field belongs to the avel. Therefore, unless it's a Davravid, of course, has no right to employ him during that time. So basic karka. That's a matter which is real estate. But basic metalchim, if it's a matter which is um, um, movable objects. Such as Avel had a donkey or a boat, which is rented out by others, or muhkar, or leased by others. Hadin kach. This is if it was rented or leased before that belus. Chakra is not really leased. It's a different type of business arrangement. It doesn't concern us right now, the difference. That local is mine, but so it's at least before that bailiff, but the end time is not yet concluded. Mutam so the people who rent it or leased it out can do what they want. The B'Shalayim skin kombasara. And all what belongs to them, like in a field. Im kolasman also, but the time is finished, it's also. If below them is started, the mistam b'kaim it's not like a field where we assume that it's destined for sharecropping. If I have a kamuskar and it's like it's rented out gam asman abah even for the time after the agreement is terminated. Sheyim be'elo supposed to she'ain of dim so last year. You don't necessarily are not necessarily going to be rented or leased out. Have I talk therefore now it's like a new rental. It's also. Of us last year, you may have law. You're not allowed to rent it out during the time of Avelus. Other muskar, I'm not sure. It's. I suppose you have Hertz rented donkey. It's not clear from this. It sounds like if it would be Hertz rented donkey, then perhaps it'd be different. But then again, perhaps it's not different because it's a short-term rental. It's not clear so far, at least, what would be the status. Plus, Avima Avel Muskar Acher B'Chamosh Acher. If Avel himself is has rented out a donkey, rented with another person's donkey, or a sfina or a boat. By then, because time is not terminated, he himself should not do the working. But through other people can do it. Since the primary work is not his, it's called the other's work. I misread that. It's something else. It means that if the other, not the other rented out, other is hired to work with somebody else's donkey or with somebody else's boat, and the time is not yet completed, so he himself can't work. But through other people, it's mutter. The primary law is not his. He's hired to work with that person's donkey or that person's boat, but the ikar of the donkey that boat is the other person's. I'm sorry. That was Levush. The Yesha Oser Shach Asers Im Lo Sheyesh B'Zeh Davar Avin unless the Davar Avin involved. Neither Shtei Oser Metz. Arukh HaShulchan says I think both opinions are true. Fine, the Baal Chamor, ancient of community, may I say, also, if the owner of the donkey, to whom this Avel is hired to work, doesn't care whether this person, the Avel works or not, it's awesome. You love it, unless there's a potential loss, you go into such as where you have to feed the donkey, which is low, or that you're paying per diem for the, I guess, for you're getting paid per diem. In such case, even a donkey is completely yours. We have to give him feed and fodder. Most seems like our horses. There's no greater davar than having to pay for the expenses. Therefore, a wagon driver, um, uh, when he's he can give his horse to someone else to Shisaimo, who will travel with it, be stuck with himself, and make money for the food and fodder of the animal. Now that's if there's no difference about chamor, then it has to be there's davar. But if there's a difference to the owner of the donkey, so by name, such as there's an agreement between the two of them, that when the donkey is not working, so he will not get as much payment the other as when it is working. And he is allowed to have other people work for him no matter what. I'm not sure why it's Tobat Zacher. I think it's unless I'm misunderstanding this. This is definitely about Chamor Koncha Medur and Shea Butter Lake Kako Kaskak Mavasiaso. I see. I did misunderstand it. I'll tell you about a case where the owner of the donkey said, I won't take as much of a cut of the income when you're not working. So now the owner of the donkey is going to get a loss because he's taking less of a cut because the other's not working. So in that case, the other is allowed to work the donkey by other people, no matter what. It's the benefit of the owner of the donkey. So why should the owner of the donkey suffer a loss on account of this person? Other makes a benefit, okay, that's automatic. Chavav, Chasar Ben Abay says Sif Tezayin. Yosef writes in Sif Tezvav, sorry. If the donkey's in somebody else's hands, the mechzel shlisha via for half, a third, or a quarter of the profits. Yesh matim, some people permit, yesh osim, and some people forbid. Akal shalom. Time matim pasha. The reason for those in matir is obvious. The time most marks the people aser. The dav kashum is garim only when they're hired out is the least. Close man skills to shalchem. All the time, at least it's the other person's. It's mutter. Aval mechzel shlisha via. But if it's a profit sharing arrangement, Nikol Shem Bailam, it's called the owner's donkey. It's not like land. At least it's kaima, which is made for sharecropping, then it's called the sharecropper's land. Mashagin Hani as opposed to these scenarios. So that's the rival between and Sham. It's meaning the rival. Nearly that feel the daito, but it seems to Arukh HaShulchan, even when the rival, even if the Davravid, obviously the Davravid is mutter, Shari, I feel but Shol Gamri, even it's completely yours, it's mutter. But of course, kind of specific we saw in the previous sif, Pasha doing that's obvious. Chabez. If somebody else's work is in your hand, I feel whatever tolush, even so, which is severed from the ground, which you'll have to do in private, going to rogues such as to weave or report to soch, whether it's you've accepted the job as a contractor, but it's not contractor, but you're being paid per diem. Lo yaseh, you should not do it. Do awesome malacha. You're not allowed to do malacha. If it's to other people, if it's something where there's a loss, mutas missile being lav, also otherwise it's forbidden. Being av shizel shachem, even though it's other people, come yochel also sachar avelus. You do it after avelus. Don't do it now. It's the mordechai. If his work was somebody else's hand, if they are hired by the day, also you could become also so if they accept the contract. If it's in the other's house, also lo yasu. Shlem lushu kankim say malach. The people should not say he's assisting the work. Now Shlem may have lo eskiro. Also, people should say they hired the workers during the days of his avelus. Basically, it's the other people's house. Yasu, they can work. I feel aim is that of it, even there's no potential loss. Right? They're contractors. They're involved in their contract. They're not being. They're doing their own work, distinct from the Ba'abais, just pays per job. As long as they got the contract work before he became an Ovel. But that should time perceive that should make the Baal Malacha should Paul Lavi Asu Beso. that a person who has a craft, his workers could work in his house. Ha'asam have a davar ovid. There it's kind of davar ovid. Chacham lasos beis, and they have to in his house. But the b'zelo shayach hashashnei shelo yomru. Also, people won't have the concern that he hired them during the days of Eos. It's his business. So everybody knows he hired them for it. And there's no suspicion, I guess, that he's working himself with Abelus, during Abelus. That has Motzipayim Rabbos, that's later, this is something which is prevalent about Shapoli Mosim, the workers work. But Baba worker, owner doesn't necessarily do work. Coming this and near Leos, and this all seems to me, Shemu Dover Ovid, if it's a matter whether it's potential loss, Imles, if they don't do in his house, Shemu Toimus, so allowed to do in his house, but that totally Firos and the Amora and the love has to decide what the scenario is, what the situation is, what the law should be at the time and place.